Sonic Generations is a pretty well-regarded Sonic game, and you probably like this game, or it's most likely your favorite Sonic game ever. For its time, it was the best Sonic game to come out, and it still does hold that title, and honestly, after playing it, I can definitely see why people would consider it the best Sonic game, and I'm not the first person to say this, it's just a good game. That's like the best way you could sum up this game. But honestly, I think I might like Shadow Generations a little bit more, but we're here to talk about Sonic Generations. I do actually own a PS3 copy of this game, but I was never able to fully play it because my PS3 just died out on itself. So lucky for me that they re-released the game for modern hardware. I just mainly want to get into the various gameplay aspects and just go into why it works. But getting into a few aspects of this game that are not related to the gameplay pretty quickly. The game looks pretty nice for something that came out in 2011. There's like an entire upgrade system, which is not a bad idea, but I just don't really do anything with it. Frontiers did a better job with it. I'm gonna be completely honest about that. They did change some things with the story, but honestly, it doesn't really bug me too much. I'll get into it a little bit more, but it's just stuff relating to voice lines or scenes being changed. That stuff doesn't really ruin the story all that much. They added Chao if you want to go collect them. I kinda did. You could look at some models, even check out some artwork, listen to some pretty fire music. Definitely that's a pretty strong aspect of this game. And that is basically it when it comes to small stuff. Now let me get into the story properly. The story is very simple to follow. It's Sonic's birthday, but oh no, a creature named the Time Eater shows up and takes Sonic's friends to a white void. I might have gotten the name wrong for this character, but he's just so forgettable. They just don't do anything with him. And Sonic also ends up in this white void too. Even his classic counterpart gets sucked into this, and they have to work together to restore everything. That is it. I do think this is a cool concept for a Sonic story, but they don't do anything with it. I think the idea of Sonic teaming up with his classic counterpart could be something really interesting, but it's fine. That's it. That's the story. It's fine for the most part and gets its job done. And I'm not going to really waste your time explaining any more of this story to you because I want to get into the gameplay. The gameplay focuses on you playing as Modern Sonic and Classic Sonic, and you'll be going through various different levels from your past. Starting off with Modern Sonic, obviously. I think he controls pretty well. But there is a few things that do bug me about him. Starting off, the jump. Sonic's jump just feels very stiff. When playing as Shadow and Shadow Generations, Shadow has free range over his jump, which makes it easy to save yourself. You can't really do that with Sonic. And it would have been better if they changed that, but it's not a deal breaker. And sometimes Sonic does feel like he's a little bit on rails, but he still controls pretty well. I just enjoy running around with the guy, ramming into stuff, homing attacking, wall jumping, do this. It's fun. I like it. And then there's Classic Sonic. They did the best job trying to emulate how he plays in the classic games. He definitely has the physics of Classic Sonic. There's nothing off about him. And when you get to do this, it just makes the gameplay even better. You can maybe say that Classic Sonic doesn't play entirely accurate to how Classic Sonic plays in the old days, but they tried, and I can give them that. The more I play as Classic Sonic, the more I realize that I enjoy playing as Classic Sonic. But what about the levels? What do the levels have in store? A decent amount to them. It's not just entirely, oh, I gotta get to the end. There are some obstacles in your way, and you have to overcome them. And they actually do some pretty fascinating stuff with this. City Escape is a pretty iconic level, and there's a section where you get chased down by the gun truck. But there's something obviously different about it. The thing has saw blades now, and it just puts you in a panic. You want to get through the end of the stage so it doesn't kill you. And in Classic Sonic's version of the stage, the thing feels like it's more active. I could sit down and name more and more examples of this. When Sonic Generations does stuff like that, it keeps you invested. It keeps the game continuously entertaining. Not only that, but I like seeing the recreations of stages we've seen over the years. Crisis City is a little more tricky to navigate around due to its broken pathways. I know people are tired of Green Hill Zone, but it might be the best version of it in this game. It definitely teaches you everything you need to know. Well, not everything, you don't have access to all your abilities, but it gives you the gist of how the game is gonna play. And I do like what they did with the levels in this game. Except for Planet Wisp, out of any of the levels in this game, it's a complete pace breaker and takes too long to get through. I think that's mostly everything I could say about the gameplay, but there is an aspect of the gameplay that I think is actually underrated. There are these challenge levels that you could do, And these are usually considered filler by most people, but I don't really think that. I think they're a nice addition. They're kinda necessary for overall progression so you can get to bosses, but I actually decided to do all of them. And some are better than others, and some just kinda suck. There's one where you have to find Espio by using some lights, and that's a pretty unique way to use his character in a challenge level. There's also something as simple as Amy hitting you with a hammer, which isn't amazing. It's pretty fine for the most part, but I like how they utilize Sonic's friends in these type of levels. Though sometimes they don't utilize Sonic's friends, and you'll have something like this where you have to take a goalpost to the end of a level. And I just think these deserve a little bit of appreciation, just a little bit to be honest. Because some of these do make for some pretty interesting levels. I'm not gonna really talk about the boss fights for long because I've already made videos on them before, but they're good. Except for maybe a few of them. Some will have a small gimmick to them, like in the Shadow fight, you'll have to chase down an orb to get some energy to stop Shadow. Or in the Silver fight, you'll have to avoid various different objects being thrown at you by Silver. And it's one of the best fights in the entire game. If you want to hear me talk about boss fights some more in Sonic Generations, well, 2 videos will show up at the end that you could check out. So that's all I have to say about Sonic Generations. Simple and short, but that's how I wanted to keep it. Is it one of my favorite Sonic games? Let me know what you think of Sonic Generations, and I'll see you guys next time, and bye.